Welcome to the Microsoft 365 Technical Fundamental Series. This video series focuses on delivering short videos on a variety of topics related to Microsoft 365 Business and is aimed at assisting those who are either looking at getting started with the product or need to dig into a particular technology. Each of the videos in this series is a standalone module, so you can follow through them in your preferred order. And finally, when there is another video in the series that provides additional background information for the topic, this will be mentioned in the video to help you navigate the course. This video focuses on Microsoft 365 Business for Microsoft partners. So where it fits into the market, what types of services you can build around it, and how to access demonstration environments that are pre-configured to assist you with learning more about the solution and the resources that are available to you as Microsoft partners to assist with demonstrations to your customers. Let's start with the first big question. Why choose Microsoft 365 Business for your customers? So if we start off by taking a look at the components and the technical capabilities of Microsoft 365, well, what we have here is something that will help you to compete more efficiently, sell more services, and retain customers because it brings together technologies that small businesses need at a single per user per month price point. It brings together the security and innovation of Windows 10 with the power and capabilities of Office 365. And it streamlines the management and maintenance capabilities, and it's built specifically for small and mid-sized businesses. Microsoft 365 Business is designed to help keep company data secure while ensuring employees are at their most productive, either if they're in the office or if they're out on the go. With productivity apps included, such as Word and Excel, with cloud storage capabilities, email and calendaring, and exceptional chat-based workspaces to bring teams together, customers will be able to achieve more as they create and collaborate with people inside and outside of their organization in ways that they never dreamed possible. Microsoft 365 Business standardizes your customers' devices on Windows 10, the most secure Windows ever. Building upon this strong foundation, Microsoft 365 Business adds cloud-based management and servicing, which helps ensure that customer devices are properly configured, and this helps them to take advantage of security innovations in Windows 10 and helps to significantly reduce the business risk profile. Microsoft 365 Business also includes mobile application, data, and device management, even on personal devices. With this functionality, when an employee leaves the organization or loses the device, for example, you are going to be able to go back and protect the customer data while reassuring the employee that their pictures and text messages, for example, can remain private on their own devices. Since Microsoft 365 Business is cloud delivered and enabled, you can count on automatic updates to keep your customers' apps and devices current with the latest and greatest security protection and features from Microsoft. Your customers will get to host their data on the same cloud that hosts data from over 85% of Fortune 500 companies. And finally, this is all made more efficient for you through the admin console. So this allows the simplification of things on your end, but it also gives some self-service capabilities that can help to lower the delivery costs and increase consulting and managed services margins. So this helps to free up your time on your end so that you can invest in new capabilities to help you expand your business into some of these new areas. So Microsoft 365 Business is a single subscription that provides you with these collaboration, security, and easy device management capabilities. And now you can enable these capabilities just by purchasing this single SKU option. Whereas in the past, you may have been previously going through and buying a great deal of third-party offerings and bundling them together. What we can actually do here is we can go through, and as you'll learn through this video series, you'll see how you can go through and use the simplified console to manage and deploy these new capabilities out into your customers. We're hearing from partners that you want a way to be able to increase profitability now and in the long term, but you also want to be able to create a more predictable recurring revenue stream. So doing this requires finding a simple way to scale and standardize so that your managed services are an easy, natural value addition requiring less time from you. You may also want to be able to assure your customers that as their business grows, their infrastructure does not need to become more complicated. They can simply scale up and down as business needs change, and this is all done by basically increasing the licensing or potentially adding additional capabilities from other offerings in Microsoft 365's range. So what this means is that you can attract the customer to begin with, and then you can also retain that customer for the long term. So the three pillars: increasing your profitability, expanding services, and driving customer retention. So now that we've done the quick overview of what's included, some of the capabilities that we'll be digging into in more detail, this is where we start talking about the resources that are available for Microsoft partners. So while there are many different sources of information for Microsoft 365 Business, there's really two key ones that we are going to focus on in this section. The first one is Microsoft Demos. And with Microsoft Demos, it requires you to sign in with your Microsoft Partner Network associated sign-in, and it provides access to a large amount of content for learning and demonstration purposes. It also includes the ability for you to be able to easily provision 90-day trial tenants, and these trial tenants are rich environments and are pre-populated with users, sample content, and scripts to walk you through. The second link provided acts as the launchpad for partners looking for Microsoft 365 business content, regardless of whether it's technical or sales related. So with that, let's jump into the first demonstration where we'll go through and we'll build out a sample environment using demos.microsoft.com. So you'll get to see the sign-in experience, the provisioning experience, and then we'll sign into the freshly created tenant. For the first part of the demonstration, I'll go through the Microsoft Demos site and use the work account to sign in so that we can start provisioning a demonstration environment. So what you'll notice here is that the site name is demos.microsoft.com, and I'll choose work account. Now, if you have previously been using a personal account, you may need to sign in with that first of all so that you can then go through and set it up so that it can work with your work account. And by work account, we do mean Azure Active Directory based. So if I click on this option, then we get a choice of which of the Azure AD accounts. Now you'll see here that I do have multiple ones, so I'll just select that first one. And it takes a couple of seconds to get into the site, so we'll just give that a few seconds. So we're doing all of this real time, so you can actually get a real feel for how quickly you can get an environment running. Now, as we go across the top of the screen, you'll see that we've got the My Environment section and we've got demos. So let's start off with the demos drop-down and take a look at Microsoft 365 Business. So I'll just scroll down a little bit so we can see a few things here. So you'll see that there are three different demo scenarios that are available for you depending on what it is that you're trying to achieve with the tenant that you're going to be working with. So the first one is really around showing end user productivity and end user capabilities, how to set up the the basics around the protection of devices and data, for example. The second one, which is what we'll come back to in a second, is the main one that we'll focus on, which is the business admin demo. And then the final one is using some of the additional add-on capabilities that are available with Microsoft 365 Business. So let's just take a look at this show details. And what you'll see here is that there are three different types of assets available for this demonstration, as well as for many of the others. So the first one is just the admin demo guide. So a walking guide, a demonstration script, if you like, where there's comments, there's information around why you're doing what you're doing. The second one is the presentation, which is effectively if you don't have time to get an environment going and really learn how to run through it. The admin click-through is really just a PowerPoint presentation that you click through slide after slide, and it will actually show you that admin experience. And then the final option is the business admin video. So if you want to see how all of this works together, get an idea of some of the wording and phrasing, how they get from one section to another. Now, in a lot of cases, using a combination of two or even three of these as a way to learn more effectively is really going to be the best option for you. So let's just close that. But what I'd normally do is I'd go through and I'd download the ones that are appropriate for me, or they're not very large. So I'd go through and download all three so that we can take a look at them in more detail. Now, what we need to do next is go over to demos, to my environments. And from here, you can see that I've already got a few different environments configured. So what I'll do here is select create a tenant. And I just want a quick tenant. And in this case, because I'm using a Microsoft internal account, it means that it's giving me an option of 1 year, which you normally won't see, but I'll just stick to the 90-day tenant so you get a similar experience to what I see. And what you'll see here is that at this stage, there are 4 different demo environments we can choose. The first 2 are Microsoft 365 Enterprise focused. So these include a lot of the scenarios around Microsoft 365 Enterprise E3 and E5 capabilities. The final one, Microsoft Education, is focused on the education SKUs. So it's got additional things around things like the Microsoft Intune for Education, for example. And then the last one that we'll talk about is the one that we want to focus on, which is the Microsoft 365 Business Demo Content. So this is really that one that we want. So if I click on create the tenant, this is just agreeing to the terms and conditions of going through and using this environment really for yourself, that it's not something that's designed to be shared with customers. And if I click on agree, it will go through very quickly and create that environment for me. So there we go. It just went through and created that in that time frame that we had. So as you can see here, I've already got a few other ones set up. And the thing that lets me know that this is the Microsoft 365 business one is if you see here M365B. So this is the tenant name. And here's the username, so admin at m365b on Microsoft.com. I won't scroll down any further because that's where the password for the tenants will be. But just underneath that username section, there is a password section which I'll use in just a moment. So in order to sign in and take a look at what's going on in here, if I go to a new in private window, and for that new in private window, if I go to portal.office.com, so great to see autofill, knowing who I need to be. I'll type in that admin name that we just saw generated. I'll just jump off screen so I can copy the password in that was just generated. And I'll just paste that in. And yes, I'll stay signed in. Now, because this is the first time that we've gone through and we've run this, we'll have a little pop-up, giving us a bit of an overview. We don't need to sort of pay too much attention to this one for now because, some of you may have already used Office 365 previously. What we really want to take a look at in here is jumping into admin. Now, the reason why we're jumping into admin is just so that I can highlight a few things for those of you who aren't familiar with the Microsoft 365 business product just yet. So first of all, if you have seen Office 365's Admin Center previously, you'll see that it's a version of that. The coloring is a bit different. It's blue instead of a lot more of the orange focus that you'd normally see. But to start off with, it looks quite similar. But as we start scrolling down, this is where you'll start seeing, once we get to this section, we get device policies, device actions, and the Windows 10 upgrade capabilities. Now, through the device policies and device actions, this is really where a lot of that integration capability of Microsoft 365 Business comes in. So we'll be spending a bit of time in other recordings in this series going through what some of these capabilities are and giving you a bit of a walkthrough of what's going on behind the scenes. And then this one here is really the Windows 10 upgrade. So where do you get get access to the ISO so that you can do an installation, or if you need to get it out to people in remote locations, what are some of the ways that you can invite them to take advantage of that? But again, we'll cover some of these types of things in more detail in later recordings in this series. So that just really gives you a quick look at how quickly and easily you can go through and set up this environment. But just to give you a sneak peek at some of the things that you'll get a little bit more detail on later on is mentioning that we do have all of these users pre-provisioned. Licenses are assigned to users. If we jump down and we take a look at the licenses, or if we take a look at subscriptions here, what you'll see here is that we've actually got more users in the environment or more accounts in the environment than we do actually have licenses. So we've already assigned 24 out of the 25 trial licenses, so that if you wanted to set up something in your own name and assign a license to it without it affecting the flow of the other demonstrations, that's definitely something you can do. And then you'll also see over here that the trial expires in 90 days. So as I mentioned, it is a 3-month trial. So we'll leave that this demonstration here for now, and we'll jump back in and use this environment for a lot more of the demonstrations that we'll be using in later parts of this course. Thank you for watching this video. For more information on the topics covered, take a look at the links provided as additional resources for these videos, and make sure you check out the other videos in this series.